An Indianapolis woman tonight is arrested after police say her 2-year-old daughter was discovered with bruises on her body and a puncture wound on her neck. The little girl is identified as Skylar Gardner. Police say 33-year-old Skylar Gardner had called police saying she had found her daughter cold to the touch and underneath a dresser. Medics pronounced the girl dead at the scene. Police say they found trash, human feces, and knives covering the floor. Authorities say Gardner told them she had been spending each night with her boyfriend and checked on Skylar and another 3-year-old child once a day. Police say the mother admits she had been neglecting her daughter. Tonight, she's facing a charge of neglect resulting in death.
Those new court documents say 2-year-old Skylar Gardner may have been dead for several hours before she was found, and her body was full of bruises and injuries.
On my home, like this money's on my mind. The sight had in mind, but for me, they don't apply. Only pressure. I look bitch that's better. So girl, I got my foot up on their neck, so I won't let them.
On her YouTube channel, Chantel Bauer, as she called herself, projected the image of a rising rap star. But at home in apartment 6300 on Newberry Road, her children were fighting for survival in conditions that would shock even hardened investigators. In a quiet neighborhood of Indianapolis, at the Timber Point Apartments on Newberry Road, a tragedy unfolded that would shock all of America. 2-year-old Skylar Gardner's life came to a horrific end due to the gross negligence of her mother, Chantel Gardner. On the evening of January 25, 2025, 33-year-old Chantel called 911, reporting that she had found her daughter Skylar unconscious and cold to the touch. What police discovered upon arrival would shock even the most experienced investigators. Skylar was a sweet, cheerful girl with bright eyes. She loved the color pink, and her only toy was a small bunny that she never let go of. Skylar was very attached to her older 4-year-old brother. They always played together and comforted each other. Since October of 2024, Skylar and her 4-year-old brother were effectively abandoned in an apartment that more closely resembled a hazardous waste dump. Their mother, 33-year-old Chantel Gardner, regularly left the children alone while spending time with her boyfriend. Gradually, her absences grew longer, from several hours to several days at a time. The apartment where the children lived was a living hell. The floors were covered in piles of putrid garbage mixed with human feces. Sharp knives and dangerous objects were scattered everywhere. The air was thick with a nauseating stench of rotting waste and unwashed bodies. There was no clean food, drinking water, or basic amenities. Hungry and frightened, the children would often cry and call for their mother, but she never came. Chantel would only occasionally stop by for a few minutes, bringing food, usually fast food leftovers, cheeseburgers, chicken nuggets, wings, or chips, which the children had to wash down with sports drinks. The 4-year-old boy had learned to climb onto the kitchen counter to get water when they were thirsty. Skylar and her brother slept directly on the cold floor among the garbage, huddled together for warmth. The children's diapers were constantly wet and dirty, causing painful skin irritations. The little ones stopped crying when they soiled themselves because they knew no one would come to change them. Instead of educational toys, they were surrounded by syringes, cigarette butts, and sharp fragments. Their only comfort was each other's embrace. And with the innocent characteristics of their age, they continued to smile and laugh, even finding joy despite the depths of human neglect. When Chantel did come home, she reeked of alcohol and cigarette smoke. She would grimace in disgust at her feces-covered children, quickly give them something to eat, and run back to her boyfriend or friends. To the children's timid requests to play together or stay with them, their mother would only irritably wave them away. Over time, the children's health began to deteriorate noticeably. They fell behind in development and barely gained weight. Constant stomach pains, high fevers, and coughing became normal for the little ones. But Chantel had no intention of changing anything. She was only concerned with her own ambitions and entertainment, not the well-being of her daughter and son.
The 2-year-old baby got found. This Timber Point Apartments. I had to see for myself. I looked her ass up on my case and got this exact address. This is the house right here. So I'm like, who all live next door? Because who live right here? Why y'all ain't say shit? Like, I'm pissed the fuck off on some real shit. And then it's some shoes right here. So y'all ain't hear these babies crying? Like, what's tea? I'm shitty as fuck.
I'm about to go back over and see.
Hold on.
I'm about to look my ranking out.
So yeah, you can see. I swear to God, I'm pissed the fuck Oh, do y'all see that wall with all that doodle on the wall?
Look, it's up there.
They was fucking hungry.
The wall to the left. It's helly shit up there.
Man, what?
Hold on, wait. What can
They need to make a documentary about this. They need to kill this. I'm pissed off.
that?
It's so much. How is it so much on the wall right there?
You see?
Do y'all see over there? Look at all the walls. Got doodle all on the walls.
Hold on.
So they was planning they shit. Like, I'm confused.
Hold on. Let me get a.
Bro, I'm so fucking disgusted. This bitch.
It's not open. It's not open. I wouldn't even want to go in there.
Go right there so they can see right there. Really? Oh my God, this is horrible. I'm talking about exactly, Lavinia, what you said. Because how the f I ain't walk past and see all this shit? Yeah. But I looked on my case and she been having an open eviction since January. So you knew you had to be out of this motherfucker, but you left them, bitch. Look at all this fucking trash. Talking about you was coming to feed them, bitch. How? How would you feed them? Look at the table, bitch. How was they eating? Look at the furniture. Look at everything in this motherfucker.
It's like she was coming and set the shit up right on that little deck or something.
Man, when I say this motherfucker is destroyed, like, this can't be real, bitch. This is like something off a fucking movie. I never knew bitches really live like this. What the f?
Chantel devoted all her attention to social media and her career. Instead of taking the children to the doctor, buying them clothes and toys, or spending time with them, she spent hours on the internet. She posted selfies from parties, wrote about her musical successes, and bragged about expensive purchases. There was not a single mention of Skylar and her brother in these posts. On her YouTube channel, Chantel Gardner, also known as Chantel BWI, posted videos where she performed rap, appearing well-groomed and put together. But while she was filming videos in clean, well-lit spaces, her children remained in horrific conditions in an apartment littered with rotting food remains, garbage, and scattered sharp objects. It took Skylar's tragic death for the world to learn the cruel truth. At 6:30 p.m. on January 25, 2025, Chantel Gardner called 911. She reported finding her 2-year-old daughter, Skylar, unconscious under a fallen dresser. According to her, she had come home and called the children for dinner. When only her son came, she started searching and discovered her daughter's body. Arriving police discovered a horrific scene.
Indianapolis woman tonight is arrested after police say her 2-year-old daughter was discovered with bruises on her body and a puncture wound on her neck. The little girl is identified as Skylar Gardner. Police say 33-year-old Chantel Gardner had called police saying she had found her daughter cold to the touch and underneath a dresser. Medics pronounced the girl dead at the scene. Police say they found trash, human feces, and knives covering the floor. Authorities say Gardner told them she had been spending each night with her boyfriend and checked on Skylar and another 3-year-old child once a day. Police say the mother admits she had been neglecting her daughter. Tonight, she's facing a charge of neglect resulting in death.
Those new court documents say 2-year-old Skylar Gardner may have been dead for several hours before she was found, and her body was full of bruises and injuries.
It's on my home like this money's on my mind. The sight had in mind, but for me they don't apply. Only pressure. I look bitch that's better. So girl, I got my foot up on their neck, so I won't let them.
The apartment was filled with garbage mixed with rotting food and feces. Among the unimaginable filth lay sharp knives and other dangerous objects. Police immediately understood that the dresser story didn't add up. The lightweight furniture with fabric drawers, partially resting on a chair, could not have caused the child's death. Skylar's body was already in rigor mortis, indicating death had occurred many hours before help was called. The body examination revealed multiple injuries: circular bruise marks about 3/4 to 1 inch in diameter across her body, human bite marks on her back and under her left arm, trauma to the inner part of her lower lip, frostbite on her hands and feet, injuries in the anal area from unchanged diapers, and damage to her right eye. A puncture wound was found on her neck, which, according to experts, appeared post-mortem, likely from rats inhabiting the apartment. Investigation showed the apartment had no heating, with temperatures ranging between 46 and 51 degrees Fahrenheit. Skylar's small body was cold to the touch, with signs of frostbite on her hands and feet. The coroner later determined that hypothermia was the cause of death. During the autopsy, they found hair, possible feces particles, and paint chips in Skylar's stomach. Foreign objects were discovered in her intestines. Evidently, the girl had tried to eat anything she could find to stave off hunger. The body showed severe dehydration. Skylar's 4-year-old brother was immediately hospitalized at Riley Children's Hospital. Doctors diagnosed him with severe constipation, signs of prolonged starvation, and serious emotional and cognitive disorders. Medical staff noted that without timely intervention, his condition could also have become critical. The boy showed signs of severe food trauma. He would have complete meltdowns if anyone tried to take away his food tray, and he ate in huge clumps, requiring intervention to slow him down. He was described as weak and very twitchy and shy. Initially, Skylar Gardner pretended to be shocked by what happened. She denied harming the children, claimed she had no idea what happened to Skylar, and insisted she would never hurt her children. During her first interrogations, Skylar's story kept changing. First, she claimed she checked on the children daily. Then, she changed her story, saying she last saw Skylar on January 24th around 4 p.m. when she brought the McDonald's food before going to her boyfriend's and returning only at 6 p.m. the next day. When investigators pressed harder, Skylar's story completely fell apart. She admitted she had strayed from home due to the unbearable smell. She bathed the children no more than once every week or two, only to wash away the feces and dirt accumulated in their hair. Even seeing her daughter's redness and swelling in the anal area from unchanged diapers, she did nothing. Skylar admitted that she spent every night at her boyfriend's house and was hardly ever home, only occasionally stopping by to bring food and drink. Her chilling confession revealed the full extent of the severe neglect. Skylar deliberately abandoned her 2-year-old daughter and 4-year-old son every night, condemning them to cold, hunger, and total isolation. According to the police investigation, investigators turned their attention to Skylar Gardner's boyfriend, Brian Thomas, to determine his role in what happened. Although he wasn't the children's father, investigators wanted to know if Thomas was aware of the conditions in which the mother left the children. During questioning, 30-year-old Brian Thomas also tried to hide the truth. Initially, he claimed he didn't know about the children's living conditions, saying he thought they were with relatives when Skylar stayed at his place overnight. Later, he admitted he had lied to protect his girlfriend. Skylar spent up to 5 days a week at his place, rarely bringing the children, at most once a week. The last time he saw them was on his birthday, December 27th. Police seized Thomas's phone to check his statements and look for possible messages or calls that might expose his lies. Even if Thomas hadn't directly harmed the children, investigators believed he knew what was happening, covered for Skylar, and allowed the abuse to continue. Despite his attempts to mislead police, a warrant was issued for Thomas's arrest for aiding and abetting the crime. The children's biological father, living in Ohio, revealed heartbreaking details. Due to his disability, he had given full custody to Skylar, believing she would provide proper care for the children. He repeatedly tried to contact his children by phone and video chat, but Skylar ignored his requests. His adult children, who visited Skylar and her brother, noticed the children smelled of urine, but their concerns went unheard. The smell was so strong it seeped into the hallway and neighboring apartments. One resident told investigators, "We thought about complaining to management but never did." Another neighbor admitted hearing children crying late at night, but decided not to get involved in other people's business. Even the property management staff, who received complaints about the smell, only issued formal reminders about maintaining cleanliness. Nobody tried to check on the children's living conditions, despite the stench clearly indicating serious sanitation issues. This bystander inaction effectively made them silent accomplices to the tragedy. One call to Child Protective Services could have saved Skylar's life and protected her brother from severe psychological trauma. But modern society's typical reluctance to interfere in others' affairs left these children alone with their suffering. The case caused massive public outrage. People were furious that while the mother found time for entertainment, social media, and career building, she neglected her children. Her numerous Facebook posts never mentioned the children. Skylar even boasted about becoming a women's basketball coach. She portrayed herself as someone helping others while secretly condemning her own children to suffering. One of Skylar's most chilling posts, published shortly before the tragedy, disturbed many. She wrote, "I don't trust anyone except my children, though things aren't so straightforward with the second one." These words seemed merely strange at the time, but now, in light of events, they took on an ominous meaning. The mention of the second child, Skylar, left people wondering, was this a dark hint at her true feelings toward the little girl? By late January 2025, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office presented a full list of charges against Skylar Gardner. The initial negligence charge was significantly expanded. The 33-year-old mother now faced murder charges, criminal negligence resulting in the death of a child under 14, and creating life-threatening conditions for a dependent person. Notably, prosecutors insisted on murder charges rather than manslaughter. The prosecution argued that Skylar knowingly created conditions that had a high probability of causing death. She understood that lack of heating, food, water, and basic hygiene could be fatal for young children, yet continued to leave them in dangerous conditions. The first court hearing took place 1 week after Skylar's body was discovered. The court set bail at $100,000. The main trial with a jury is scheduled for April 8, 2025. If found guilty on all counts, Skylar Gardner faces life imprisonment. A separate investigation continues regarding 30-year-old Brian Thomas. He faces 2 counts of aiding a criminal for providing deliberately false testimony that hindered the investigation. Although Thomas later changed his testimony, admitting he knew about the unsupervised children, this didn't absolve him of responsibility for initially lying to investigators. At the time charges were filed, a warrant was issued for his arrest. According to attorney John Tompkins, who isn't connected to the case, the key question for jurors won't be the fact of criminal negligence, which is obvious, but rather Skylar's awareness of the consequences. She knew things were bad, but did she know someone would die? When you're charged with knowingly acting, it means that during your actions, you were aware to a high degree of certainty that death could occur. Innocent little angel Skylar knew nothing but suffering. She deserved love, care, and a safe home. Instead, she was left alone, condemned to torments that no child should endure. Her short life was filled with pain and ended far too soon. Now, everyone awaits justice, not only for Skylar but for other children, so no child ever suffers the same fate. This heartbreaking story serves as a grim reminder that negligence can be as deadly as violence. The guilty must face punishment. This concludes the story of Skylar Gardner, a 2-year-old girl whose short life ended due to shocking maternal negligence. This tragedy exposed serious problems in our society: neighbors' indifference, failures in the child protection system, and the contrast between real life and social media personas. Protect your children, and don't be indifferent to others. Sometimes, one phone call to Child Protective Services can save a life. Do make sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss out any other latest videos. Hit that like button also. Thanks for watching.